Our book, The Courage to be Disliked, is a conversation. It is a dialogue between a young man and a philosopher. The young man is unhappy and feels that the world is a complicated and difficult place. He believes that his past has made him who he is today, and he feels stuck. He seeks out the philosopher, who lives a simple life and teaches a very different way of thinking. This philosopher follows the ideas of Alfred Adler, a famous psychologist. He tells the young man that life is not complex, but simple. He says that anyone can be happy right now. This idea sounds strange to the young man and he wants to argue against it. The book is structured as a series of 5 nights of conversation. Over these 5 nights, the philosopher explains the core principles of Adlerian psychology. He challenges the young man's beliefs about life, happiness, and relationships. The young man represents all of us who have ever felt limited by our past experiences, our fears, or what other people think of us. He asks the questions that many of us have in our minds. The philosopher's answers are often surprising and go against what most people believe. He offers a new perspective on how to live a free and fulfilling life, one that is not determined by past trauma or the approval of others. The main idea we want to share is that you have the power to choose your life. Many people believe in etiology, which is the idea that your past causes your present. If you had a bad childhood, you might think that is why you are unhappy now. Adlerian psychology teaches teleology, which is the idea that you choose your goals and your actions are meant to achieve those goals. This means you are not a victim of your past, you are the creator of your future. This shift in thinking is the first step toward gaining the courage to change and to be happy. It is a powerful and liberating concept that puts you in control. Throughout these conversations, we explore how to find personal freedom. This freedom comes from understanding that what other people think of you is their business, not yours. It comes from learning to separate your tasks from the tasks of others. It also comes from feeling a sense of belonging and contribution to a community. We hope this book will feel like you are sitting in the room with the philosopher and the youth. We want it to challenge your own beliefs and inspire you to find the courage to live a life that is truly your own, a life where you are not afraid to be disliked for being who you are. The first night begins with the young man's frustration. He believes that people are products of their past. He tells the philosopher about his friend who is afraid to go outside. The young man thinks his friend's anxiety is caused by a traumatic event in his past. The philosopher disagrees completely. He introduces the idea of teleology, the study of purpose. He suggests that the friend chooses not to go outside because he has a goal, to get attention and care from his parents. The anxiety is a tool he created to achieve this goal. This is a shocking idea for the young man and for many readers. It means we are not broken by our past, we are using our past experiences to justify our present choices. The philosopher explains that all unhappiness is a choice. This is a very bold statement. He says that people choose to be unhappy because it gives them something they want. For example, someone might choose to be angry to control another person. They are not overcome by an uncontrollable emotion, they are using anger as a method to achieve a goal, like making someone listen to them. This perspective shifts responsibility directly to the individual. It suggests that if we want to change, we must first recognize that we are actively choosing our current lifestyle and emotional state. It is not something that just happens to us. We have the power to choose differently at any moment. This leads to the core lesson of the first night. You are not defined by your past trauma. Adlerian psychology does not deny that past events happen. A difficult childhood or a painful experience is real. However, it argues that the meaning we give to those events is what matters. The event itself does not determine our future. We are the ones who decide how that event will influence us. We can use it as an excuse to stay unhappy, or we can use it as a lesson to build a better life. This is where true freedom begins. It is the freedom to interpret our own life story in a way that empowers us, rather than limits us. The conversation concludes by challenging the idea of changing others. The philosopher states that you cannot change who you are by wishing you were someone else. You can only start with who you are right now. The first step is to accept yourself as you are. Then, you must have the courage to make new choices. The courage to change is the courage to be happy. It means letting go of the excuses you have been using, like I can't do this because of my past, and instead asking, what is my goal right now, and what do I need to do to achieve it? This first night lays the foundation for a revolutionary way of thinking about personal power and responsibility. On the second night, the philosopher makes another surprising claim. All problems are, at their core, interpersonal relationship problems. This seems strange at first. What about feelings of loneliness or personal inadequacy? The philosopher explains that even these feelings are connected to other people. For example, you feel inferior not because you are objectively lacking, but because you are comparing yourself to others. If you were the only person on the planet, the concept of being short or unsuccessful would not exist. These feelings only arise when we place ourselves in a social context and begin to judge ourselves against those around us. The philosopher then discusses the feeling of inferiority. He says that an inferiority complex is not the same as a simple feeling of inferiority. A feeling of inferiority can be healthy. It can motivate us to improve. For example, if you are not good at a skill, you might feel inferior and decide to practice more. An inferiority complex, however, is when you use your feeling of inferiority as an excuse. You might say, "I can't succeed because I didn't go to a good school." This is using your perceived lack as a reason to avoid facing life's challenges. It is a way to protect your pride by not even trying, so you can never truly fail. Another related idea is the superiority complex. This is when someone boasts about their achievements or acts as if they are better than everyone else. The philosopher explains that this is actually a sign of a strong feeling of inferiority. The person feels so insecure that they need to constantly prove their worth to others and to themselves. They are afraid of being seen as inadequate, so they create a false image of superiority. True confidence does not need to be announced. A person who is genuinely confident in themselves does not feel the need to compete with others or to show off their accomplishments. They are secure in their own value. The main lesson from this night is to stop competing with others. Life is not a race where you have to beat everyone else. When you see other people as your competition, you can never be truly happy. You will always be worried about winning or losing. Instead, Adler suggests that you should see other people as your comrades or fellow travelers. You're all walking on the same flat plane, moving forward at your own pace. The only competition you should have is with your ideal self. You should strive to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. This shift from competition to self-improvement frees you from the constant anxiety of comparing yourself to others. The third night focuses on a very practical and powerful concept: the separation of tasks. The philosopher argues that we must learn to distinguish between what is our task and what is someone else's task. This is the key to freeing ourselves from unnecessary suffering and conflict in our relationships. The way to tell whose task it is to ask the question, who ultimately receives the result of the choice being made? For example, whether a child studies or not is ultimately the child's task. The consequence of not studying, like getting bad grades, is something the child will have to face. It is not the parent's task to force the child to study. Parents often make the mistake of taking on their children's tasks. They might say, "You must study hard to get into a good university." They believe they are doing this for the child's own good. However, the philosopher explains that this is actually about satisfying the parent's own expectations and needs, like their need for social approval or their fear of being seen as a bad parent. By interfering, the parent is not teaching the child how to be responsible for their own life. They are teaching the child that someone else will always solve their problems for them. This creates a dependent relationship, not a healthy one. The same principle applies to all our relationships. We suffer because we want to control things that are not our tasks, or because we allow others to interfere in ours. For instance, worrying about what other people think of you is interfering in their task. How someone feels about you, whether they like you or dislike you, is their task. It is based on their values, their mood, and their own life. You have no control over it. Your task is simply to live your life authentically and in accordance with your own principles. Trying to please everyone is an impossible goal that will only lead to you not living your own life. This is the courage to be disliked. This leads to the ultimate freedom. When you stop trying to live up to the expectations of others, and you stop expecting others to live up to yours, you become free. You can offer support and help to others, but you cannot live their lives for them. For example, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. You can show your child the joy of learning, but you cannot force them to feel it. The courage to separate tasks means having the courage to trust others to handle their own lives. It means letting go of control and focusing only on what you can change, your own actions and your own choices. On the fourth night, The dialogue moves from individual freedom to our place in the world. The young man feels that if he follows the philosopher's advice and separates his tasks, he will become isolated and selfish. He worries that he will see himself as the center of the universe. The philosopher corrects this misunderstanding. He explains that people who are self-obsessed are not truly interested in themselves. They are actually obsessed with how others see them. They may seem to be the main character in their own story, but their happiness depends entirely on the audience's applause. They are not the center of their own world, but a slave to the world of others. The true goal, the philosopher explains, is to find your place within a larger community. This does not mean just your family or your workplace, it means seeing yourself as part of the entire human race and even the universe. This feeling is called community feeling. It is the sense that you have a place where you belong and that you are contributing to the well-being of others. When you have this feeling, you no longer need recognition from specific people. You know that you are valuable just by being alive and by making a contribution, no matter how small it seems. You are a part of something much bigger than yourself. To develop community feeling, we must shift our perspective from, what can this person give me, to what can I give to this person? This is a fundamental change from a self-centered life to a life of contribution. It means seeing other people not as enemies to compete with or as tools to use, but as comrades. You build relationships based on trust and respect, not on the desire for praise or approval. When you focus on contributing, you find your own worth. You don't need someone to say thank you to feel good. The feeling of contribution itself is what brings you happiness and a sense of belonging. The philosopher challenges the young man to stop thinking in terms of vertical relationships, where some people are above you and some are below you. This is the mindset of praise and punishment. Instead, we should build horizontal relationships, where everyone is equal, though not the same. In a horizontal relationship, you don't praise someone as if they are a child. You offer encouragement. You might say, thank you, that was a big help, which shows gratitude and respect. This way of relating to others helps to build community feeling. It makes you realize that you are not the center of the world, but you are an important and equal part of it. The final night of conversation brings all the previous ideas together into a guide for living. The young man is still worried about the future. He wants a clear destination, a goal to work towards. The philosopher tells him that life is not a straight line from a starting point to a destination. Life is a series of moments, a series of nows. Thinking about the past with regret or about the future with anxiety means you're not truly living. You're shining a dim light on your entire life, but you are not seeing what is right in front of you. The only moment you can live in is the present moment. To explain this, the philosopher uses the metaphor of a dance. When you are dancing, you are not trying to get to a destination. The purpose of the dance is the dancing itself. Every step, every movement is the goal. You are complete in every moment. Life should be lived in the same way. It is not about reaching a far-off goal like becoming a millionaire or retiring happily. If you live that way, your entire life becomes a means to an end, and you never truly enjoy the journey. True happiness is found in living earnestly and completely in the here and now, just like a dancer who is fully absorbed in their dance. This does not mean you should live without plans or goals. It means you should not be ruled by them. The philosopher uses another metaphor, a journey. A journey to a destination like the pyramids in Egypt is different from a race. The goal is to get to the pyramids, but the real joy is in the journey itself, the sights you see, the people you meet, and the experiences you have along the way. Even if you never reach the pyramids for some reason, the journey itself was not a waste. Every moment you lived fully was complete in itself. Life is a series of such moments. The final powerful message of the book is that the greatest lie we can tell ourselves is the lie of not living in the here and now. We postpone our happiness, thinking it will come later when we achieve something. But the future is unknown, and the past is gone. The only thing that is real is this moment. By focusing all your energy on what you can do right now, you can live a fulfilling life. If you have lived each moment to the fullest, you will look back and see that your life was a beautiful dance. You have the power to change your life, not tomorrow but right now, by choosing how you live in this very moment. A central pillar of Adlerian psychology, and a recurring theme in our discussions, is the concept of community feeling. This idea can seem abstract at first, but it is the ultimate goal for achieving lasting happiness and strong mental health. Community feeling is the sense of being connected to others, of having a place in the world, and of seeing others as your comrades rather than your rivals. It extends beyond your immediate circle of family and friends to encompass all of humanity, past, present, and future. It is the feeling that you belong, and that you are a valuable part of a larger whole, which gives life meaning. To cultivate community feeling, one must make a conscious shift in perspective. This begins with self-acceptance. You must first accept yourself for who you are, with all your strengths and weaknesses. This is not about being perfect, but about acknowledging your reality without judgment. The next step is to develop confidence in others. This means trusting people unconditionally without expecting anything in return. This can be difficult and requires courage, as you might be betrayed. However, Adler believed that the fear of betrayal should not stop you from building trusting relationships, as a life lived in suspicion is not a free life. The third and most active component of building community feeling is making a contribution to others. This does not mean you have to perform grand, heroic acts. Contribution can be found in the smallest of tasks, like doing your job well, washing the dishes for your family, or offering a kind word to a stranger. The important part is not how others judge your contribution, but your own subjective feeling that you are being useful to someone. This sense of contribution is what directly leads to happiness. It silences the question of your own worth because you feel your value through your actions and your connection to the community. When you have a strong sense of community feeling, you no longer need external validation or praise. You are not driven by the desire for recognition because your happiness comes from within, from the feeling of being a contributing member of society. This frees you from the tyranny of other people's opinions and allows you to follow your own path with confidence. It is the antidote to the feelings of isolation and inferiority that plague so many people. By seeing yourself as an integral part of a vast and supportive community, you find the security and purpose needed to live a courageous and happy life. One of the most radical and liberating ideas we explore is the courage to be normal. In a world that constantly pushes us to be special, to stand out, and to achieve extraordinary things, the pressure can be immense. Many people believe that they must be better than others to be happy. They chase after status, fame, or wealth, thinking that this will prove their worth. This pursuit of being special is a trap. It puts you in constant competition with others and sets you up for disappointment. If you fail to be special, you might feel like a complete failure. Adlerian psychology teaches us to reject this need for specialness. Instead, we should have the courage to be normal, to be plain. Being normal does not mean being mediocre. It means accepting yourself just as you are without needing to prove your superiority over anyone else. Think of a beautiful flower in a field. It does not need to be the brightest or the tallest flower to have value. It is valuable simply by being itself. In the same way, you do not need to be a famous artist or a powerful CEO to have worth. Your existence itself is a contribution. This idea connects directly to living in the here and now. The person who is desperate to be special is always focused on a future goal. They are not living their life today. They are living in a fantasy of what they might become. They cannot enjoy the simple everyday moments because they see them only as stepping stones to something greater. The person with the courage to be normal can find joy in the ordinary. They can appreciate a walk in the park, a good conversation with a friend, or the satisfaction of a job well done. Their life is not a means to an end, it is a series of complete and meaningful moments. Embracing the courage to be normal frees you from a huge burden of expectation, both from yourself and from society. It allows you to stop comparing yourself to others and to focus on your own journey of self-improvement. You are not trying to be better than anyone else. You are simply trying to be a better version of yourself. This is a much more peaceful and sustainable way to live. It is a quiet revolution against the constant noise of competition. It is the simple, profound courage to accept your ordinary life and to see the extraordinary value within it. Throughout our 5 nights of dialogue, the philosopher offers the young man, and by extension you the reader, a blueprint for a new way of life. This is not a set of easy tricks or quick fixes. It is a fundamental shift in how you view yourself, others, and the world. The core message is one of empowerment and responsibility. You are not a victim of your circumstances, your past, or other people. You are the protagonist of your own life, with the power to choose your path and create your own happiness at any given moment. This is the essence of Adlerian psychology. The journey begins with the courage to reject ideology, the tyranny of the past. Your trauma does not define you. The meaning you give it does. From there, you must find the courage to handle your interpersonal relationships by separating tasks. Your task is to live your own life with sincerity. It is not your task to control how others feel or what they think of you. This is the courage to be disliked, a freedom that allows you to be authentic. This does not lead to isolation, but opens the door to a deeper connection with others through the development of community feeling. You find your worth not in praise, but in contribution. We encourage you to start applying these ideas in your own life, one small step at a time. Begin by noticing when you are blaming your past for your present feelings. Ask yourself, what is my goal right now? Practice separating tasks in a small, everyday situation. Maybe you can stop worrying about a coworker's opinion of your work and focus only on doing your best. Try to see one person today not as a competitor but as a comrade. Offer a word of encouragement instead of praise. These small changes, practiced consistently, can lead to profound transformations in how you experience your life. Ultimately, the courage to be disliked is the courage to be free. It is the courage to live in the here and now, to embrace your normal life as something wonderful and complete. It is the courage to choose happiness, even when it feels difficult. Life is not complex, we make it complex. By adopting the simple principles of Adlerian psychology, you can untangle the knots you have tied for yourself. You can begin to live a life that is lighter, simpler, and filled with a quiet, resilient joy. The power to do so is already within you, you just need the courage to use it.